For the first time in years, the U.S. rental market is seeing widespread rent declines and a dramatic shift in power from landlords to tenants. Since August 2022, several cities have experienced steep rent drops, with the largest declines reported in Las Vegas, Nevada, negative 13.6%, Atlanta, Georgia, minus 13.6%, and Austin, Texas, minus 13.4%. According to the latest report tracking rent trends in the nation's 50 largest metro areas, August marked the first month since March that rents fell, likely signaling the start of the market's seasonal slowdown. Over the past 3 years, rent across America climbed at record speed, rising faster than at any point in modern history. From Miami to Seattle, landlords reigned supreme, confident that tenants would pay nearly any price to stay housed. But by 2025, that dominance has collapsed. Cities once booming with bidding wars are now grappling with empty apartments and falling rents. Developers overbuilt, investors overleveraged, and renters finally hit their financial limits. Stay tuned as we count down the top 10 U.S. cities where rent is collapsing in 2025 and explore how these shifts could reshape the rental market for years to come. Number 10. Atlanta, Georgia. The Sun Belt's safe market faces a rental reality check in 2025. For years, Atlanta, Georgia was hailed as the Sun Belt's most stable housing market, a city with strong job growth, affordable housing, and steady migration from both coasts. Developers poured billions into new apartment complexes from Midtown to Sandy Springs, betting big on endless demand. But in 2025, that confidence has cracked. Between 2021 and 2024, over 50,000 new rental units flooded the market, far more than the city could absorb. Today, Atlanta rent prices have fallen 9% year over year, vacancies are rising, and developers are scrambling to fill empty buildings. Once in-demand high-rises now offer 3 months of free rent, waived deposits, and free parking to attract tenants. But the problem runs deeper than oversupply. Wage growth has stalled, inflation has squeezed household budgets, and the return of student loan payments has cut into renters' disposable income. Millennials and Gen Z tenants are doubling up, moving back with family or leaving the metro altogether. Even once bulletproof suburbs like Cobb, Gwinnett, and Henry County are showing signs of weakness. Investors who banked on single-family rentals are slashing prices to stem losses. The city that symbolized affordable growth is now a lesson in overbuilding and misplaced confidence. Developers built luxury instead of accessibility, and when demand slowed, the market faltered. In 2025, Atlanta's housing market isn't collapsing, it's correcting. But for a city that rose on momentum alone, the road to recovery may be longer than anyone expected. Number 9. Dallas, Texas. The Lone Star. Powerhouse faces a rental market slowdown in 2025. For years, Dallas, Texas seemed unstoppable. Corporate relocations surged, young professionals flocked to Uptown, Plano, and Frisco, and developers raced to keep up with booming demand. The city was hailed as the economic capital of Texas, a model of endless growth and prosperity. But in 2025, that confidence has faded as the Dallas rental market faces one of its sharpest slowdowns in a decade. Average rent in Dallas has fallen nearly 10% year over year, and Class A vacancies are at their highest levels in 10 years. Behind the city's glittering skyline, landlords are feeling the squeeze. Between 2021 and 2024, tens of thousands of new apartment units were added just as renters began tightening their budgets. Inflation and high interest rates have eroded disposable income, pushing many potential tenants to move back home or share space. Landlords are offering steep incentives, free utilities, parking, and rent credits to fill empty units, but profits are shrinking as insurance premiums and property taxes continue to rise. Even Dallas's once booming corporate and tech sectors are cooling amid hiring freezes and cautious expansion plans. The result is a market caught between oversupply and affordability. Developers built luxury, but renters need value. The imbalance is reshaping what was once the most resilient housing market in Texas. In 2025, Dallas still gleams on the outside, but beneath the skyline, the cracks are showing. The city that symbolized unstoppable growth is now confronting the limits of its own momentum. Number 8. Boise, Idaho. The pandemic boomtown faces a harsh housing market correction in 2025. During the pandemic, Boise, Idaho became the symbol of America's housing miracle. Remote workers from San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland poured into the small mountain city, chasing space, safety, and affordability. Cash offers and bidding wars became the norm as Boise home prices doubled and rent prices skyrocketed. Developers rushed to build, convinced the demand would never end. But in 2025, the boom has gone bust. Boise rents have dropped 13% year over year, and vacancy rates are rising faster than anywhere else in the Mountain West housing market. Downtown apartments that once leased in days now sit empty for months. Developers who built luxury towers during the frenzy are drowning in inventory and cutting prices to attract tenants. The city's core workforce, teachers, nurses, and service employees, never earned Silicon Valley salaries. As the remote work wave receded, many newcomers left, leaving Boise's inflated market overexposed. Even the once thriving suburbs of Meridian, Nampa, and Eagle are feeling the strain. Construction projects are stalling mid-build, investors are liquidating properties at losses, and local businesses that thrived during the migration boom are scaling back or closing entirely. Landlords are offering rent discounts of $300 to $500, free months, and unit upgrades, but demand remains sluggish. In 2025, the Boise rental market stands as both poetic and painful. The city that once promised freedom from big city chaos is now learning that when migration slows and speculation fades, even paradise has limits. Number 7. Seattle, Washington. Tech layoffs and oversupply drive a sharp rental market correction in 2025. For the first time in over a decade, the Seattle skyline tells a story of uncertainty. After years of relentless expansion fueled by tech growth and soaring rent prices, the city's housing market is now cooling rapidly. In 2025, Seattle rents have fallen about 10% year over year, and once coveted downtown towers are facing rising vacancies and plunging demand. Massive tech layoffs at Amazon, Microsoft, and dozens of startups have gutted the city's high-income renter base. Luxury apartments in Capitol Hill, South Lake Union, and Belltown, once booked months in advance, are now offering cash bonuses, free rent, and lease incentives just to stay competitive. Even the affluent suburbs of Bellevue, Redmond, and Kirkland are showing similar declines as renewals drop and tenants relocate. Developers who banked on endless demand are feeling the squeeze. Entire construction projects have been delayed or abandoned, leaving half-finished buildings scattered across the skyline, a stark reminder of overconfidence. Beyond the economics, the shift is cultural. The pandemic permanently changed how people work and live. Many who once pursued Seattle's prestige are now opting for lower-cost states and remote lifestyles, eroding the steady demand that once defined the city. In 2025, the Seattle rental market reflects a broader truth. Even tech-fueled cities have limits. Beneath the mist and gleaming glass towers lies a fragile market, one where renters hold the power and landlords are learning that growth without balance doesn't last forever. Number 6. New York City. The empire of rent finally shows its cracks in 2025. For generations, New York City's housing market was considered untouchable. No matter the crisis, financial, social, or global, demand always bounced back. But in 2025, that myth is fading fast. Average Manhattan rent prices have fallen 12%, while Brooklyn and Queens rents are down as much as 15% year over year. For the first time in decades, renters have the upper hand, and landlords are offering free rent, waived deposits, and luxury upgrades to stay competitive. Developers overbuilt between 2021 and 2023, confident that endless wealth would fill their glass towers. Instead, corporate layoffs across finance, media, and tech have thinned the city's high-income renter pool. International buyers, once the secret engine of Manhattan's real estate machine, have pulled back amid global uncertainty and new tax pressures. Even luxury rentals on Billionaires Row are being repriced, while smaller landlords face crippling refinancing rates and rising foreclosures. Younger professionals who once paid any price for a Manhattan studio are fleeing to Charlotte, Nashville, and Philadelphia, seeking affordability and balance. The culture, chaos, and ambition remain, but fewer can afford the price of entry. Across the U.S., this marks a larger shift. Housing markets correcting after years of runaway growth. Developers built luxury. Renters wanted livable. Now, the correction has arrived. In 2025, the New York housing market stands as a symbol of reality catching up to ambition. Proof that even the empire of rent has a ceiling. Number 5. Las Vegas, Nevada. The city of boom and bust faces a rental market meltdown in 2025. In 2025, the Las Vegas rental market is feeling the sting of a cold streak. Once fueled by a flood of California migrants, investors, and short-term rental profits, Las Vegas, Nevada seemed unstoppable during the pandemic boom. Between 2020 and 2023, demand soared, homes sold overnight, and rent prices climbed at record pace. But that winning streak has come to an end. Rents in Las Vegas have fallen nearly 10% since 2023, while vacancy rates have doubled across key areas like Henderson and Summerlin. Apartment complexes that once boasted waitlists now sit half-empty. The glittering skyline remains, but beneath the neon, oversupply and slowing demand tell a different story. Tourism, long the city's economic engine, has yet to fully rebound. Casino hiring is down, conventions are smaller, and hospitality wages have stagnated. Thousands of Airbnb and short-term rentals have flooded the long-term market as owners struggle to recover profits. Homes that once rented for $2,400 now linger at $1,900 with few takers. Meanwhile, overbuilding continues as projects launched during the pandemic finally hit completion. Landlords and investors who bet big on endless growth are slashing rents or selling at losses to survive. In Las Vegas's 2025 housing market, the odds have turned. What was once a city of limitless opportunity is now facing a familiar reckoning. Too much speculation, not enough sustainability. The lights still shine, but behind them, the house is losing. Number 4. Miami, Florida. From luxury boom to housing market. Slowdown in 2025. Once the epicenter of luxury and limitless demand, Miami's rental market has entered a steep correction in 2025. Fueled by the pandemic migration, crypto wealth, and global investors chasing sunshine and status, Miami's rent prices soared more than 60% between 2020 and 2022. The city became a magnet for billionaires, digital nomads, and remote workers. But that boom has lost its shine. Today, average rent in Miami has dropped 11% year over year, with vacancy rates rising sharply across Brickell, downtown Miami, and Miami Beach. The once hyped luxury towers offering ocean views and infinity pools are now advertising free parking, waive deposits, and $2,000 gift cards to lure tenants. Behind the slowdown are mounting costs and waning investor confidence. Insurance premiums in Florida have tripled, while HOA fees have surged as buildings race to comply with stricter post-collapse safety regulations. Investors are feeling the strain. Condos once valued at $900,000 now sell for $700,000 or remain unsold, and Airbnb owners are exiting as tourism cools and maintenance expenses rise. Even long reliable foreign buyers are retreating, deterred by storm risks and costly assessments. From above, Miami still dazzles with turquoise waters and a glittering skyline. But beneath the luxury, the numbers no longer add up. In 2025, Miami's real estate market has become a cautionary tale, proof that when speculation outpaces sustainability, even paradise can lose its shine. Number 3. San Francisco, California. America's tech capital faces a historic rental market collapse in 2025. If any city defines the word collapse, it's San Francisco. Once the crown jewel of American innovation, the city's housing market has unraveled faster than anyone expected. In 2025, San Francisco rent prices have plunged 15% year over year. and downtown vacancy rates have shattered all previous records. Luxury towers that once commanded $4,000 a month now struggle to fill units at $3,000, often with incentives, discounts, or months of free rent. The tech exodus that began during the pandemic never reversed. Remote work became permanent, turning once bustling startup districts into quiet corridors of empty offices and vacant apartments. Entire downtown blocks now stand lined with "for lease" signs that blend into the landscape. Landlords and investors who once thrived on passive income are facing soaring property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs, wiping out returns. Perception has become San Francisco's biggest liability. Concerns over crime, homelessness, and declining quality of life are pushing renters toward more affordable, livable cities like Sacramento, Austin, and Denver. The ripple effect is reshaping the Bay Area economy. Restaurants, boutiques, and galleries that once defined the city's charm are closing, while tech firms continue relocating to cheaper hubs. In 2025, the San Francisco housing market is not just cooling, it's transforming. The city that once set the national rent ceiling is now defining how far it can fall. It's a stark reminder that even the most innovative cities can't thrive when affordability and sustainability disappear. Number 2. Phoenix, Arizona. The Sun Belt's hottest market is cooling fast in 2025. Once the blazing heart of the Sun Belt housing boom, Phoenix, Arizona is now experiencing one of the sharpest corrections in the nation. Just 2 years ago, the city was a symbol of migration-driven growth as thousands of families from California and the Midwest fueled record construction and soaring rent prices. Entire suburbs in Chandler, Glendale, and Mesa sprang up seemingly overnight, promising stability and prosperity. But in 2025, that optimism has faded. More than 30,000 new apartments hit the market within a year, far outpacing demand. Average rent in Phoenix has dropped 12% year over year, and landlords are offering aggressive incentives, free rent, furnished move-ins, and prepaid utilities to fill vacant units. Behind the skyline's shine lies a growing financial strain. Insurance and maintenance costs have surged, while investors who bought luxury developments during the pandemic peak now owe more than their properties are worth. The city's once booming job market is also tightening as high interest rates and slower migration freeze corporate expansion and hiring. From downtown Phoenix to the East Valley, the signs of overbuilding are everywhere. Developers built for endless demand, but the influx has stopped, leaving a city built for 10 million trying to serve 8. In 2025, the Phoenix rental market isn't just cooling, it's correcting. The Sun Belt's hottest real estate story has hit a wall, marking a pivotal moment for Arizona's housing market and its long-term growth model. Number 1. Austin, Texas. The fastest rising city now facing record rent declines in 2025. Once the crown jewel of America's tech migration, Austin, Texas is now at the center of a dramatic housing correction. Between 2020 and 2023, the city became a magnet for remote workers, tech startups, and venture capital, earning the nickname Silicon Hills. Luxury towers rose across downtown, and Austin rent prices soared to historic highs. But in 2025, that boom has turned into a sharp downturn. Average rent in Austin has fallen nearly 14% year over year, marking one of the steepest declines in the Sun Belt housing market. Thousands of newly built apartments now sit half-empty as landlords offer major incentives, free rent, waived deposits, and even event tickets to attract tenants. The downturn follows widespread tech layoffs from major employers like Meta, Oracle, and Tesla, which have gutted Austin's high-income renter base. In luxury buildings such as the Independent and 70 Rainey, vacancy rates have reached decade highs, while East Austin landlords are slashing prices to stay competitive. For developers and investors who over-leveraged during the boom, profits have evaporated under rising interest rates and declining demand. Yet for renters, it's a long-awaited relief. After years of skyrocketing costs, Austin's rental market is finally rebalancing, offering affordability and opportunity once again. In 2025, the message is clear. The city that rose fastest is now facing a powerful correction, reshaping the future of Texas real estate and the broader Sunbelt rental market. You've been watching Nest Abroad, your home for cinematic deep dives into America's biggest transformations. The housing market is changing faster than ever. But the real question is, how will you adapt? Will you seize the moment or watch the wave pass by? If this breakdown opened your eyes, hit subscribe, like, and activate the bell so you never miss a story that could shape your future. Join us every day, same time, same place, as we uncover the trends redefining how America lives, builds, and dreams. See you in tomorrow's episode.